Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. Here looking at Kanzume Goddess with Megan Price from Japanime Games. I should point out, first of all, the game does not itself ship in a can. This is a promo tin that you have right now.
That is the actual
That
game.
is the actual can.
Yes.
The can.
The story behind it is you are releasing the goddess from the can. It's similar, almost like an Aladdin's lamp type story.
Okay. So you do this?
Comes in a can.
All right. So Kanzume Goddess is a deck building game. We know that. So we each start with a small number of cards. We're going to be purchasing cards or acquiring cards in some way, adding them to our deck, and then shuffle through the deck and keep doing more things. What are we trying to do, though? What's the setting here?
Okay. So it's Greek gods versus Norse gods. There's 6 of each.
Okay.
And each god has special abilities that they get to use during the game. And this is basically your avatar for the game. So you're actually attacking each other's god, but you're sending out warriors to defend or to attack or...
So each of us are going to be one of these gods?
Yes.
So we would take it at random, or we draft them, or...
There are a couple of different ways you can do it, because there's 2 different ways to play this game.
Okay.
It can be a free-for-all brawl, and then it's just done randomly.
Or it's going to be one side against the other?
If you have 4 or 6 players, it's a team game, and you play one against the other. And they get to choose which faction they want to be.
Okay. So you're going to have a special power based on whichever avatar you have for the game. So these are, and then once we do that, these are out for the rest of the game. Okay, so then we're working with these cards. We start with 2 of the Sacred Guardians and 8 of the Priest. In here. Okay. So
then we shuffle them, and we each draw 5 cards.
Okay.
And your initial ones most likely will just be the faith points.
Right.
So the first phase of the game, or each round, is to play your warriors. So you send your army out, and then after that, you recruit new warriors to your deck.
Okay.
So in this instance, I have 5 faith points. At the beginning of the game, it's always good to purchase more faith points because, as you see, they go up in value in the corner.
That's right. 4, 4, 5, 6, 5, 3.
So this one card is worth 2, whereas that one's just 1.
And you can buy as many as you can afford?
Yes, there's no limit on buying as long as you have the points available.
Okay.
And one interesting thing about this game is when you purchase a card, it goes to the top of your deck. You know you'll have it next turn, but so does your opponent.
Okay, so everything you buy is going to go plop right on top to set up the next turn.
Right, and as soon as you purchase, a new card is turned over, so you have the option of that card as well.
So how are these decks divided? I thought they would be the same through here. These are not.
Well, there's 18 different types of warriors, and they're dealt out in stacks of 15 with just the top one showing. It's completely random every time.
So all the different types are just shuffled together, and we get a random 6 assortment, and it'll be changing 6 each time. Okay. What are some of the powers that they do?
Well, some of them simply draw cards for you, so you can look at more cards.
Right.
There are some that attack. There's attack of 1, attacks of 2, and attacks of 4.
Okay.
Then there are defense cards. Sacred Guardian is 1, but there's also a card in here that defends you at a 2, or if you don't use it on your turn, you can use it to draw a card.
Okay.
So
So to put all this in context, what are we actually trying to do? Just eliminate the other players?
Yes.
And how they start with a certain number of life? Or how do we do it?
Each god starts with 15 points. This is in the free-for-all. It's a little different when you play teams, but in the basic game, 15 life points. And your goal is to either get your own god up to 25 life points, or all the opposing gods down to 0.
And you're out of the game immediately when you're at 0 and you go on. Oh, we forgot to mention, what are some of the powers that we have here that we get to do? Just to give a sense for the flavor of what's going on.
Thor is a great example because he's all about fighting. So both of his abilities have to do with fighting.
Okay.
He can spend one of his life points to increase his fighter's attack by +2. Or after you have played a warrior, if it is a red warrior, as you see here, the cards are colored. If it's a red warrior, he could spend 1 and it goes to the top of the deck. So she'll always come back and fight for you each round.
Okay. Devotion to Thor is you're going to go through this.
So they're loyal and they're aggressive.
Okay. And let's see, Artemis, you can negate a god's ability if you pay 1 energy to do so.
So like Thor wouldn't be able to bring a card back to his deck.
That's right.
Or wouldn't be able to pump up a warrior.
Athena, what is the energy that we're using? That's not health, or is that health?
This is the health, yeah.
And that is that the energy?
Yes.
All right.
It's referred to as energy, and then these are faith points.
Okay.
So it's the priestess and the bishop's faith.
Athena keeps you from discarding if you don't want to. Makes sense for Athena,
it's a
of course.
very
You got to do that.
strong ability.
That's right. You may choose to discard 2 cards from your hand. Select the player, and the player chooses a card from the discard pile, place it in their hand. So you cycle all through. I should, yes, at least show off the cards as I'm talking about them. It's hard to read when they're facing away from you, though.
Yes.
It's a very difficult challenge on here. Anytime a warrior card is put into the netherworld, you may discard a card from your hand as the activation cost, and then gain a disciple card.
Yes.
So all sorts of things. So it's going to change each time as you do it based on what's going to come out, and of course the random assortment of
right, the order in which they come.
Okay, and so it's a 2 to 6 player game.
Yes.
How does it change between 2 and 6? Like, what's the feeling for
if you play a 6-player free-for-all, for one, the game takes quite a long time because you have to get 5 other gods down to 0,
right,
or keep all of them off you long enough to get up to 25. Okay. It's a very long game.
Is there other game ending if we run out of cards? You end as well, or you just keep going with whatever you have in your deck, and hopefully you build something nice?
Yes.
Kind of do that.
And with 6 players playing teams is really fun because there's one player who's the main god, and then the other 2 would be the support gods. The support gods can't die.
Okay.
They only die if one of them. The game is over if only one of the main gods
dies. So
yeah.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. A lot of the cards are worded like they'll say select a player.
Right. So assist your teammates in terms of what you're doing there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks very much for the overview. Good luck. When is the game actually released? I mean, right now you got the demos.
Yes, it's in print right now.
Okay.
So we hopefully we'll have it by the end of next month.
It's on its way here. Okay.
Soon.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.